I did. I slept very well.
Yeah, I actually did, but I really felt very early on in that game last night, Chris, like Golden State came out and played. It's almost like the officials did the Warriors a couple of breaks. They did them a break in the moment with that call in game one, reversing. Yes. And then they also did them a favor because they're like, hey, heads up, Cleveland can battle with you. And I thought the first 8 minutes of that game last night is as hard as the Warriors have played defense in a long time. Do you think going back to Cleveland, Chris, okay, bad moment, flush it, move on. Do you think it's the time they need to kind of reboot upstairs?
Yeah, if it's going to happen, obviously it's going to happen in Cleveland for game 3. You know, I think, look, they know they're undermanned. LeBron knows, man, I'm going against a juggernaut.
Right.
You know, it's the cliche. I'm in a battle with a water pistol, you know?
Right.
And that's why game 1 was so deflating, because you have to play perfect. You have no room for error against Golden State. And you pretty much do play perfectly for the first 48 minutes.
I thought Cleveland played as good, and I'm not kidding, in any playoff game this year. I thought they did. Now, they gave up some easy baskets, but it's the Warriors.
Yeah, they weren't perfect, but they played about as well as they could play.
In the first half, I thought that was the best half of basketball, period, they had played in 2 months.
Yep. And they don't get the win. So now you're like, you know, you just like, now we got to do it for another 5 minutes. And I think they were just totally deflated. And it probably spilled over into game 2. I thought game 2 was just very anticlimactic because there was no lead changes.
No. That's Chris. It was just, it didn't have juice.
No.
It felt like game 3 of the Toronto LeBron series.
Yeah.
Like it was just
that's
like
a good comparison.
There was no juice to it at all. I got to ask you, we obviously know LeBron's held to a higher standard than Durant. But, man, there was a moment last night I used the analogy, when you get on a plane and you walk past first class and you're like, man, they got a headset already. They got a cocktail. They got a little more room. There's always that little bit of envy.
Oh, yeah.
I've had a lot of envy in my life walking past first class. How does LeBron watch Kevin Durant? And he's laughing, and he drops a quiet 29. Don't you think sometimes, Chris, that this series in a weird way is kind of a, hey, LeBron, you could have this much fun. LeBron doesn't look like he's having fun.
No, he doesn't, because he's got such a burden on him. You know what makes it worse, too, is that I don't know that LeBron feels this way, but I think it's a fact. He created it.
Yeah.
Like Durant is not in Golden State if LeBron doesn't go to Miami. I don't think Durant thinks that's okay. Like, that I could actually do that unless LeBron did it first. Obviously, it wasn't quite the same, but in principle, it was the same.
Yeah.
I'm going to a stacked team. I'm bringing Chris Bosh with me. We're going to play with D-Wade. And LeBron started the player-generated super team. Player-generated. You know, Showtime Lakers, Celtics with Bird.
That was front office generated.
Dr. J. Yeah, those were front office moves. LeBron was the first to get players to do it.
Right.
And now, ironically, that's come back to haunt him. Because I don't think Durant is in Golden State if LeBron doesn't make the move. And Durant went to a better super team. A better one. So everything, LeBron said what? Not 1, not 2, not 3. How many does Durant has a better chance of getting 3, 4, 5 with this team than LeBron had with Miami?
Listen, generally, my belief system on dynasties, they always end sooner than we think. It's usually ego, salary caps. Lakers have to make a choice. The only thing, because I don't see the egos with this team. What I see is injuries. Steph, well, here's what I see, Chris. They could be on their 5th finals. That is a lot of extra games. That is a lot of extra body fatigue. That is a lot of extra punishment as you age as a player, 27, 28, 29, 30. But if Steph doesn't get hurt, I think Durant's not a guy I consider injury prone. Steph's a little injury prone. But if Steph stays healthy, this is what Adam Silver didn't want. It's not just that they're winning, Chris. It looks like a hot knife through butter.
Yeah. It's the mental challenge. And I talked to people in Golden State this year. It was tough to get because they've won 3 or 2, and now the regular season is meaningless. So for them to get through that regular season was tough. You saw that's why Steve Kerr, hey, Andre Iguodala, you want to coach today? You guys call some plays. Next year, think about what it'll be like. When they've won it this year, how do they get through that season? Jordan, we all think he's the GOAT. He had to take a break.
He took a break.
At 3, man, imagine, and he didn't live in the social media era.
I always said this about Jordan. Michael Jordan said, I got nothing to prove. I'm exhausted. And he took a year and a half off. Then he came back and re-energized. People think I'm crazy when I say this. This is going to be LeBron's 8th straight trip to the finals. That's 20 extra games. That is almost like a double an NBA season of games in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's incredible, and that's why it's such a great feat for LeBron to get there 8 times. But I'll say this. It may even be harder when you keep winning. Like, he hasn't won, obviously, in all those 8 trips to the finals. Like the Showtime Lakers, Magic got to 9 finals in 12 years, but didn't win. He lost 4.
Yeah.
So you're driven every year or two. When you don't win it, you're driven to get back. Golden State keeps winning.
Easily.
Jordan kept winning. So it's like, I just need to get away, and so that's what this Warriors team is going to battle. We not only keep getting back, but we keep winning. What's the challenge for us? I hope they stay together, though, because, this is something special that we're watching.
I think Curry right now is my MVP. What say you?
I agree, and I think, look, the notion that Steph Curry does not show up in the finals is ridiculous.
It's over now.
It's over now, but even it never should have existed. Look, I've said since that night when Andre Iguodala was voted MVP, and all due respect to Iguodala, Steph should have been the MVP.
Yeah.
Steph averaged 27 points in that series on 44% shooting. He averaged 23 in the regular season. So he actually scored more in the finals than he did in the regular season. Then last year, he almost averages a triple-double. 27 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds. A 6'3", slight 6'3" point guard does that, and we got this feeling that he doesn't get it done in the playoffs? Like, I don't get that at all. So hopefully he does win it this year so he can get that monkey off of his back.
You've always said LeBron's going back to Cleveland. I want to play that video that has surfaced this morning about LeBron in the huddle after Game 1 as they were heading into overtime. There's so much anguish and so much frustration. Man, Chris, I look at this video. I know he doesn't like the owner. I know he doesn't love the rookie GM. I know he's frustrated with J.R. Smith. I mean, you look at that video, Chris, that doesn't look like staying in Cleveland to me.
No, I don't, like I said, I think he should go to Philadelphia. I think if he stays in Cleveland, it's not about winning. It's about my family loves it here. My wife loves it here. Maybe, I don't know if he wants his kids to go to his alma mater in high school. But if he wants to win, if winning is his number one goal.
Isn't it?
I would think. But I think if he comes to the Lakers, though, winning is not the absolute number one thing. I think it's a priority, obviously, but it's more, I want to set myself up for life after basketball. My businesses are out here. It's L.A. There's all types of doors that can be open. Magic could even open up some doors, Magic Johnson. And, yeah, we'll be really good. Me and Paul George and these young guys, we'll have a chance. But I don't think you can say winning that's definitely what it's all about if you go to L.A. If he does, if you want that, I think it's Philly or Houston.
Yeah, Oh, God, no.
We talked about it before. Boston, Philadelphia.
By the way,
maybe Milwaukee would be ahead of them.
Look at this. This is the, do we have the Las Vegas odds that came down this morning? This is funny, Chris. The Vegas odds next year's NBA champs. The Lakers are ahead of Cleveland. So the team with LeBron has less of a chance than the team that is recruiting LeBron. What does that tell you?
That tells me they're trying to protect themselves with these odds. I don't know why they have Miami up there. They obviously think there's a chance he goes back.
Well, that's the only way.
But come on.
That's just Vegas.
He's not going back to the Heat.
No. It is interesting. I've always given the Lakers an edge. I've always said it's kind of 51-49 Cleveland Lakers.
So you don't think anybody else is in there?
I got to be honest with you. I hate to give you this kind of credit. You've really got me on this Philadelphia thing. You've really done it. You're like Whitlock. You start beating me over the head with something, and I drive home, and I drive to work, and I drive home, and I'm looking around this, and I'm thinking, nobody said this. Just to stick it to Kyrie. All right, bro, you're in Boston. You ain't getting to a finals. And LeBron says, A, I give myself, tell me if I'm wrong. I think your Philadelphia thing's interesting. A, it's a way better team than Cleveland. B, to what you said, still dominates the East. C, these are star players. They would be hard.
Yeah.
Okay. And D, kind of sticking it to the guy who bailed on him.
Yeah. And another thing is, with that front office situation, maybe you're in position to have more control there, right? So, look, to me, it's a no-brainer. I told you, I've been told he wants to play off the ball, or he's willing to.
And you were on this a month and a half ago. Don't kid yourself. Kyrie Irving divorced him. Public divorce. Humiliated LeBron. Leaked stuff to the press. You don't think LeBron would go to Philadelphia and say, all right, bro, you're not getting to one for the next 4 years?
He could. I could see that. And look, for all the – you think about this season, and a lot – look, LeBron's been great, but he hadn't caught any breaks.
Right.
For the most part. You know, game one, he puts on a show for the ages, doesn't catch a break. He has caught one break this year.
What?
That Kyrie didn't play in that Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
Because, one, Boston probably wins.
Yes.
And because if Kyrie hadn't been hurt. See, now if Kyrie gets Boston to the finals next year, LeBron's in the West or whatever, Kyrie's not going to get all the credit. Because you see how good they are even without him, how good Brad Stevens is. If Kyrie had never gotten hurt this year and they beat Cleveland in the Eastern Conference Finals, Kyrie would have gotten all the credit.
Oh, no.
And it would have been like he left LeBron and beat LeBron.
Kyrie won the divorce.
Oh, my
He
God.
upgraded. I'm telling you, that Philadelphia thing you keep beating me over the head with.
You see it now.
No, seriously. I've been thinking.
Makes all the sense in the world.
And then I thought about this a couple days ago. I'm like, it would also, the fourth point is, okay, you humiliated me, bro. Because I tell you something, if I get LeBron, Simmons, and Embiid, good luck, Boston.
Well, let me say this
Good
about
luck, Boston.
There's been talk about will they make any moves in the offseason. What Danny Ainge needs to do is sit down with Kyrie Irving and have a long conversation.
That's right.
And say, look, you can opt out after next year. We want to keep you long term. We want to build around you. But are you staying? Are you committed to being here in Boston? And see if you can lock him up long term. If not, then you could try to play it out. But I don't know. Danny he's a risk. I don't know that he'd play out the season, see if we can win it, and convince you to stay. He might have to look at
That's
moving
not
if
Danny
that's the
Ainge's
case.
history.
No.
Chris Broussard, good stuff. Festus Ezeli, Doug Gottlieb, Steven Jackson, all here. Where Colin was right, where Colin was wrong is around the corner as well. In L.A., it's The Herd.